visit on KCRG-TV9 is brought to you by Emergency Veterinary Service.
Thanks for staying with us. Veterinarian Ryan Steen joins us today to take your questions. You brought Navigator with you today, which is fitting because when the door to the studio opened, he just bolted right in like he knew where he was going.
He was leading the way, wasn't he? Yep, Navigator's a stray that's out at Cedar Rapids Animal Control, and he's looking for a home. He's a young male Chihuahua mix, neutered male, I believe, and but yeah, he's got a great personality, and he's ready to go to somebody's home. You bet.
He is so cute. Cheryl's on the line with our first question today. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, we have a Great Pyrenees dog, and he's been walking around shaking his head a lot. I was wondering if he's got maybe an ear infection.
That would be the most common cause,
okay.
Yep. And we see there's several different types of ear infections. Occasionally we'll see ear mites, but that's less common in adult dogs. And so yeast infection or bacterial infection would also be pretty common causes. The way to deal with that is to obviously see your veterinarian. They can do a little swab to see what that is, whether it's yeast or bacteria, and that impacts the type of medication that's used. And usually those are managed with a topical medication put directly in the ear. Occasionally oral medications, but usually topical.
Anything you can do to prevent that? Because my dog, for example, gets stuff in her ear, and she has long hair, so you have to trim it sometimes.
Yep. And keeping those areas open, and then also routine cleanings can be effective in many cases. And that may mean for certain dogs that may mean once a week, and for other dogs that may mean less or more often than that. Ear infections are commonly secondary to something else, and so a lot of times in order to prevent them, we need to identify the underlying cause. In this situation, if it's the first time that dog's ever had an ear infection, we might just clear that ear infection up and see what happens moving forward. But it's not uncommon for ear infections to be secondary to allergies or thyroid problems, things of that nature. So on occasion, we need to do a little further checking to see why it's happening.
If it's mites, it'd be something you might be able to see yourself too?
Not typically. Can't see the mites because they're too small. Now, sometimes a veterinarian can see them with an otoscope, or we can do a swab and find either the mites or the eggs. But it would be fairly rare people would see them with the naked eye. But they're pretty impressive when you see them on a scope. They're not what you'd want in your own ear for sure.
Yeah, well, you think about lice, and you can barely see them, but you can see them on a person. But mites would be something you'd have to get checked out. It would be difficult. You might be able to see a little bit of movement. You might be able to see things moving around a little bit, but it's pretty tough because they're usually way down in there. So it usually takes a veterinarian to diagnose. Well, if you're interested in adopting Navigator, cute little guy, just give Cedar Rapids Animal Care and Control a phone call. Dr. Steen, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And stay with us. One more check of your forecast coming up next.